finished watching the final episode, the finale episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi on Disney Plus. So this is, of course, a series that takes place about 10 years after episode 3 and 20-ish years before, of course, episode 4. And it involves Obi-Wan going on a journey to basically save, again, the innocents. I'm going to try and make this as spoiler-free as I possibly can for the review. If you want to check out my review for episode 1, if you haven't seen anything yet, or if you've only seen the first episode, you definitely check that out. So I'll maybe link it at the top here for videos that you can watch. Yes, this was 6 episodes long, each episode at about 45 minutes long. And yes, we have Ian McGregor coming back as Obi-Wan Kenobi, Hayden Christensen coming back as Darth Vader, so that was absolutely amazing enough. Uncle Owen and Aunt Maru are in this. There's just a lot to talk about and dissect here, so without further ado, let me get into my review for Obi-Wan Kenobi on Disney+. So right off the bat, Ian McGregor knocks it out of the park this entire series. He's very, very good as Obi-Wan, and the writing for his arc, I thought, was very, very well done. And again, it just shows how great of a Jedi and just a character that he is, how strong-willed he is, one with the Force, and then two, just the means to protect people. Even when he can't directly get involved, he's trying his very best to save other Jedi from being hunted by the Inquisitors, and basically telling them to give up the fight because he has lost all hope, but not in the way that Luke did, where he just completely abandoned everyone and he didn't want anything to do with the galaxy anymore, to the point where it seemed like, why are you still around if you feel this way? Where with Obi-Wan, he's still helping people as much as he can. He's stealing cuts of meats to feed his horses, his livestock, even himself a few times, because just there's ruthlessness in all of the galaxy, whether it be with the Empire or people taking advantage of other people's labor, things like that. So they go into it a little bit, and I just found it was a good way to, again, just show that Obi-Wan has lost all hope against the fight of the Empire because of just the strength that they carry, and again, just the personal PTSD that he has towards that entire war and the loss of the civilization that he was such a big part of. I found they just really flushed that out in many, many great ways that showed the darkness of it all, showed the light of it all. This show can get pretty brutal sometimes too, and a lot of that comes with Hayden Christensen's incredible performance as Darth Vader, and just how Disney and the writers of the show were able to make him appear and come off as kind of like the peak Vader as we've all wanted to see, jumping from those comic books or even the old school books, lore novels, things like that onto the screen was amazing, where he is absolutely ruthless. And like one of the first scenes we see with him is killing a father and then snapping the kid's neck trying to help him like run out immediately. The first encounter that we get to see between him and Obi-Wan is, again, just an amazing device to have Vader want to inflict the same amounts of pain and suffering and everything on Obi-Wan that was inflicted upon him, and just the dialogue that they have throughout this series about how it's no longer Anakin and he cannot be saved, at least by Obi-Wan anymore, is there. I know a lot of people might not understand why Vader would kind of make the sacrifices for the Empire that he does in this series by focusing on going after Obi-Wan, but you have to understand that all of Anakin's or Vader's suffering, pain, it comes from what Obi-Wan did to him back in episode 3, and just it's a trigger for him that he's not able to beat, because Anakin is still somewhere in there, and he views, again, just all of his loss stemming from, he's very conflicted between Vader and Anakin, and Vader just sees all the loss that Anakin received coming directly from Obi-Wan. And of course, Vader is stronger than Anakin at this point in the timeline. So I just found, again, they flushed out those two stories absolutely beautifully, and I really, really enjoyed watching it. Since I have to give props where it's due, I did quite enjoy this show. There are times where I do feel like this was a bit underwhelming and they could have done a lot more. Definitely not too much more, because I don't want them to break canon or just have it feel a little more jumbled. Of course, it's Obi-Wan Kenobi storyline. I would have loved to see Cal Kestis and people like that come into this show, but it does focus on Obi-Wan, and I think it was a bit better for that in the end. There's just so many little details too that Deborah Chow and her team were able to place in this that just kind of stem to the OG trilogy. And again, just kind of dissecting characters and the choices that they make, or little objects that you see that this show was able to again just kind of pass down, and just these tiny little details that you see, like little toys that Luke was playing with, is what Obi-Wan gave him in this series. Yeah, just all these little details that were so cool and added to the lore. But again, there are some little details that didn't work too well, or just seemed goofy sometimes in the terms of the directing. Deborah Chow was amazing, absolutely phenomenal, and she did a great job in terms of the cinematography, in terms of the lightsaber battles. I thought were absolutely fantastic in this show, especially in the finale episode. Um, Again, yeah, there's just so much to love within this show. Some of the shots were so cool, and she did a really good job. Again, just what she did with the Mandalorian, what she does in this series, where she just brings out so much emotion, and again, really fleshes out the characters and allows them to breathe for a second and get a lot of things off their chest that add to the characters. And she does an amazing job with this. But of course, there's certain scenes that I know a lot of people have already griped about, since that would be the bounty hunters chasing the bounty hunter chase scene. Came off very goofy, and just in a way that just didn't really feel believable, or you couldn't care about these bounty hunters because of how bad at their job they were doing. Or certain scenes where disguises, I'll say that was in episode 4, where there's a certain disguise that just definitely would not work. It was just way too noticeable and just kind of hilarious to watch at the time. And again, there's just a lot of things that felt goofy, and I know a lot of people are hoping that there would have been a little bit more about the Inquisitors, but their time on screen I thought was extremely effective. I did enjoy Reva as a character, and I found her arc not necessarily wrapped up, but came to a ends that I just found was a little more realistic to her character. I found that just the anger that she felt and everything throughout the series kind of made her uncomfortable, and she just wanted a place where she could be, I don't know if I want to say a little more herself, but she's never really had a life after episode 3 where she found a place or a way that she can make decisions on her own, and that's just really what she wanted, for to get that sort of comfort from her, that sort of status that would allow her to again maybe just not have to fight so hard. But I did find that I did enjoy her arc, and there's a lot of things to really like about her character. She was brutal, she was terrifying, and just to kind of seeing how extreme she got, that the Inquisitors were again just ready to hunt her down in ways I thought was absolutely fantastic. But she had this wit about her that they needed her, and Vader was able to see that. But it's really just incredible performances all around the board within this season, and there's just again a lot to like about it. I will understand again like some of the feelings of being underwhelmed by this series and feeling that it could have done a little bit more, but really by the end, most everything I wanted to see in this show they did. I don't know if we'll see a second season of the show, but really there is most everything I was able to cross off my checklist in terms of what I wanted to see it do for the characters. There's one thing, of course, everyone was hoping for Qui-Gon, and I will say that's just kind of where they leave it off. I do wish there was a little bit more for that to flush out Obi-Wan's character, but again, I'm satisfied enough with the show, and with everything taken together, that's why I'm gonna have to give Obi-Wan Kenobi, the series on Disney Plus, an 8.5 out of 10. I did really enjoy it, and I found it was definitely one of the stronger seasons of Obi-Wan. And there's even to some of my favorite Vader moments, Star Wars moments that come out of this show. There's really a lot to like about it. So yeah, it's just it made me happy in so many ways, and just of course seeing Ian McGregor back in the role, Hayden Christensen, I think a lot of people can't say that he's a bad actor anymore from what he was able to pull off in this show. He did an amazing job, and he was just so intimidating. His presence was unbelievable, and again, just so intimidating on screen. So again, there's just so much to like about this show. But if you've seen Obi-Wan, please let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. And of course, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and you can check out everything I do on this channel through a playlist down below, and I'll link some up top here for convenience sake. If you want to check out everything I do live streaming Twitch wise, link to that's in the description of this video, and of course my channel bio. And in both of those places, there's a link to the Media Mountain, which is my Discord where we talk about movies, video games, comic books, TV, pretty much everything that's awesome in this world. So you definitely join that amazing community. I'll make it even more amazing than it is already. Thanks for subscribing, clicking that bell so you know when I upload new videos. And yeah, just awesome, guys.